Welcome again, ladies and gentlemen, to this ultimate session for Jaipur Literature Festival 2023 as far as the Bank of Baroda Charbagh is concerned. And this is Jaipur Literature Festival 2023, protected by Dettol, Swasth Banega India. We're delighted to introduce a book and its launch, the first edition, The Homecoming and Other Stories, written by Indrani Baruah. She is in conversation with Anupama Raju. Inspired by everyday life, especially in the northeast of India, The Homecoming and Other Stories is a heartwarming collection of short stories exploring diverse themes. In the story titled The Homecoming, separated from her loved ones at a tender age and forced into the world's oldest profession, all Meera wants is to get back to her village and reunite with her family. Will Meera get a second chance at life? All the stories are based on situations of contemporary life. One will find jealousy, fear, greed, and violence, as well as hope, dreams, passion, and enthusiasm. A few stories are about insurgency and its effects and the darker realities like feticide, superstition, social divide, and human trafficking. We're delighted to have both Indrani and Anupama Raju for this ultimate session at Bank of Baroda Charbagh. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them a warm welcome. Indrani Baruah was born and brought up in the small oil town of Digboi in Assam. After finishing her schooling from Carmel Digboi, she went on to become the topper of her batch in English literature at Dibrugarh University. She has completed her masters from Gauhati University and is currently an Indian Police Service officer posted in Assam. Anupama Raju is a poet, novelist, literary journalist, translator, and communication professional. She is the author of C, a novel published in 2022, and 9, published in 2015, a poetry collection. Widely published, Anupama was Charles Wallace Fellow at the University of Kent, Canterbury, and Writer-in-Residence at Les Centres Intermondes, La Rochelle, France. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a round of applause. May I invite both of you to kindly unveil the book, and can we have the audiovisual? Please proceed with. Thank you so much. And now the floor is all yours, Anupama. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for being here to celebrate the launch of this wonderful book of short stories by Indrani Baruah, The Homecoming and Other Stories. So first and foremost, congratulations, Indrani.
Thank you so much.
It's such a joyous occasion, and to see one's book out is a thing of joy indeed. So let me ask you, since when have you been writing short fiction?
I have always been fascinated with the world of stories, And I grew up in a small idyllic town called Digboi. It's in the northeast of India, and it's a small oil town. So when we were growing up, there was no TV. My father was a doctor, and my brothers were studying to be engineers. And what happened was, to pass time, we went on to read, and we read a lot, starting from Enid Blyton's and so on and so forth. So this love for literature grew at the time, and I decided to study literature. And but unfortunately, due to family circumstances, I had to join work. I studied for and cleared my exams and joined the Assam police. But what happened was, my love for literature remained, and I continued it through reading my books, reading authors that I love, and I continued to work for the next 27 years. And suddenly COVID came, and we were on the ground, and reality hit me, like many of us. What do I want to do? What have I done? And there were so many stories inside me which I wanted the world to know. And then I decided that I must concentrate on writing. Another personal thing happened to me during COVID times. My daughter was studying in Mauritius, and she couldn't come back to India. So this, at times were uncertain, and because of that, there was a lot of, mixed feelings. Here we were working on the ground as a police officer with COVID hitting the country, and my daughter couldn't come back, and I felt I had to, vent out my feelings somewhere, and I chose to write, and write about the contemporary life, and so the short stories
that's how the book happened. Yeah, yes. Yeah, great. Okay, so yeah, you told me how you grew up with stories and reading and everything, but why the short story? Because you have so many forms. You have the novel, you have of course poetry, you have essays, but what was it about the short story, about the form, that appealed to you?
What appealed to me about short stories is, number one, as I told you, there were while I'm working in the field as a police officer, there are a number of situations, and people come up to me with all sorts of problems. So on a daily basis, I'm dealing with people and their problems. And there were so many small incidents which I feel, many others in my other professions will not come to know about it. And so there were so many things that I wanted to write, so many emotions inside me. Another thing, what happens is, when you are a police officer, you work by the book. You have to work according to law. You cannot let your emotions come into play. So all these dormant emotions inside me, that I feel as a writer, I could bring out all those emotions in this book of mine.
Okay, got it. So what are some of the typical themes? Now when you look at this collection, there is a lot of, you would find marriage, or you would find relationships, and some of these universal themes which are there in your book. So what would you say are your typical themes?
The book is actually my experiences. Like, I have a lot of friends, family. So on one side, it is different problems that they face, and on the other side, the problems that I know society is facing. Due to my profession, I am privy to a lot of things which are going on in society, which many of you all out here may not be aware of, which are, simple thing like I have my title, The Homecoming. It's on a trafficked girl. So, take for instance human trafficking. Human trafficking is the third largest crime in the world, in the crime industry. First is of course drug trafficking, and then arms dealing and human trafficking, but people are not aware of it. Now a while back, maybe in 2014-15, Assam was a source state, a destination state and a transit state for human trafficking, which is probably not known by many. So when we were working to rescue these trafficked victims, I came across a lot of victims and a lot of problems, and why they come about. It can be, it is mainly due to poverty and the economic condition that girls are trafficked. They are lured to different places of the state and even outside the country. So this is one problem I came across. Then, so this is a story on human trafficking. Others include emotions like jealousy, greed, superstition. All these are there in society, but I have chosen to, bring out these emotions in my stories as a picture of contemporary life.
Right, right. I know you already mentioned this because as a police officer, you come across real problems every day faced by others, and you're also trying to help them. So to what extent has your life as a bureaucrat, your life as a police officer influenced your writing?
I joined the police service very young. Maybe I was 20 to 23 when I joined the service. So obviously a major part of my life, I think it's, I'll be completing 30 years this September in this service.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So obviously a lot of the stories are connected with it, and Assam has seen a lot of disturbances. When we joined service in 1993, I was the second batch of women police officers. Then Assam was undergoing a turmoil. It was Assam was battling insurgency. So when we joined, when we came for work, we did not know where we would be going for the day, what we would be doing, and at what time we would be back, if we came back home at all. The situation was so bad. So all these are reflected in my stories. Obviously, if you go through such a traumatic time, things have changed now for the better, I think. So Assam has become peaceful now, which is why I think I've been able to indulge in my passion for writing.
Right. I mean, so obviously the place that you are based in, I think, definitely becomes an inescapable influence.
True.
You would, I'm sure, those of us who read the book can definitely see a bit of Assam. So, is Assam an important presence in the book, according to you?
Yes, definitely, the Northeast in fact. So I have tried to portray the contemporary urban life as well as rural life in a few of my stories.
Right.
But it is not only confined to Assam. Some problems are there which are relatable to other parts of the country as well.
Right, okay. So who are some of the writers who have influenced you?
As a student of literature, see, I grew up reading all the stalwarts. So that I appreciate those writers as a student of English literature. But in this platform, I would like to highlight the writers from Assam, the regional writers. So I'm happy to say, I'm proud to say, I read Assamese stories also. So we grew up with stories of, as we call him, Rochelle, Loknath Baruah. So he wrote these stories when we were kids. I used to read Buriai Hadu. Then other contemporary writers who have influenced me are Saurabh Soliha, the late Saurabh Soliha, and Arupa Kolita Patangya, Manoj Goswami. So my thing is, I admire writers from other parts of the country and the world also, but I can relate to the stories written by writers from my part of from my state, because it is from my soil, and the problems are relatable. I can relate to the characters, and so I have tried to portray realistically, the contemporary society in Assam and the Northeast, as well as other parts of the country.
Right. Have you ever considered writing in Assamese?
No, I don't think I'll be able to do that. I do write in Assamese, but I feel that since I studied in English, so my strong point is
English, of course,
literature.
of course, right. Okay. What is next? Are you thinking of a novel? Are you thinking of the next set of stories?
Right now, it's just sinking in that my book has been released, and so obviously I'm very excited to have come to this festival to release this book, and of course other books are in the offing, and I hope to write a novel in the near future. I'm working towards it. So let's see how it works out.
Sure, absolutely. So Indrani, would you like to read us a few passages from your stories?
Definitely.
Thank you.
I'll read out from the story An Achiever. Tora had just moved into her parental home. Luckily for her, the house was empty. She had not rented it out. It was Diwali, but for her, there were no lights. It was as if all the lights in her life had been switched off. There was only darkness ahead. Feelings of frustration and hopelessness returned. She tried to quell her fears. She had never dreamt that she would be in such a situation. How had she been so blind? Who was to blame? Her parents, her husband, her family, society, or her fate? Or was she solely responsible for everything? She tried to think and be rational about her position. But she was tired of her thoughts and her predicament. It was certainly not an easy position to be in. But problems are a part of life. What matters most is how one deals with those problems. Her wounds would take time to heal. Maybe they would take a lifetime, but she would not break. Not now or ever. She would fight back. Yes, that is what she will do. She was not the kind of person who'd wallow in self-pity. She was on the wrong side of 40. She had to face a lot of disadvantages, that was for sure. She would have to strive harder now, but she had never been afraid of hard work. There was only one difference this time. She would work for herself. She would make it work. With these troubled thoughts, Tora fell into a disturbed slumber.
Thank you, Indrani. Is there another story you would like to read from? Perhaps something happier or... But your choice really, yeah.
This is an excerpt from the story The Lost Child. It is not really a happier thing, but
that's fine.
So she started blabbering. A group of militants had entered the village and started shooting at the villagers indiscriminately after lining them up. Around 20 villagers had been killed. Shibu's parents, who were inside the house, were dragged outside and killed. Even young children were not spared. The youngest casualty was a 2-year-old. They had killed her ruthlessly. Geeta had been working in the paddy fields. The fields were situated at the outskirts of the village. The fields were even further away near the hills and were therefore saved. They had heard the gunshots from the fields and hurried home to find the villagers killed. Malati questioned Shibu, his heart turning cold. I left with your parents, replied Geeta, but now I cannot find her. Shibu's heart skipped a beat. He started to sweat.
Thank you so much. Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Indrani? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, hello Indrani, and
Hello.
very, very nice hearing you talk, and a round of applause for your book. That seems like a story of great triumph. You seem to have treaded a very lonesome path and conquered some great peaks and reached where you are. So firstly, I would like to really, really congratulate you.
Thank you so much.
And I'm very happy to be here to hear you and see women empowered and taking on the world. Because from your book, I can clearly tell the journey hasn't been really fair. There is a lot of pain. There is a lot of... you've witnessed something in your life which has left a very deep mark.
True.
Yes, it comes through as you read. I could gather and understand. So how has the journey been for you from there to here?
As you say, when I look back on the last 30 years when I've been working, the journey has been tough. It has been challenging. And it has been interesting. But if I am given a chance once again, I would go through the same journey again. I think it has made me what I am.
Fantastic.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you. I am feeling very inspired.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Yes, at that side.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, since your first chapter of your book is on a girl, so I want to ask you, since you are an bureaucrat, so you have seen so many faces than us, common public I'm referring. So do you think, is it right to promote, means, are you in favor of feminism or a meritocracy? That's my question.
Okay, yeah, interesting question. I will not say that I'm not a feminist, but in India today there are a lot of problems which women face. So I try to reflect that in my book, and if you read the short stories, you'll find traces of feminism out there. Yes, I think it comes across unconsciously. It's not the conscious effort, but it comes across unconsciously, maybe because of the kind of work I do, and maybe because of the kind of problems I see people face, because I meet people from all walks of life. So maybe this has come across.
Thank you. I think that's a great way to, oh, okay, I think perhaps the last question.
Hello. Namaste ma'am, my name is Amar, I'm from Jodhpur.
जी.
आपको हिंदी आती है समझ?
हाँ.
मैम ये जो आपने बुक लिखी है इसका टारगेट ऑडियंस आपका क्या है, लाइक इंडियन ऑडियंस के लिए लिखी है आपने या फिर?
टारगेट ऑडियंस मतलब ये सबके लिए है, क्योंकि बाहर का जो मतलब अलग अलग कंट्रीज है, मेरा हिंदी बहुत अच्छा नहीं है सॉरी पर मैं आपको ये बताना चाहती हूँ कि बाहर का जो आदमी है उनको भी पता होना चाहिए कि हम लोग इंडिया में लाइफ कैसा होता है, कंटेम्प्रेरी लाइफ, स्पेशली नॉर्थ ईस्ट थोड़ा अनरिप्रेजेंटेड है, और मेन स्ट्रीम इंडिया को तो सारा वर्ल्ड जो है उन लोगों को मालूम है, लेकिन नॉर्थ ईस्ट थोड़ा अलग है. सो मुझे इस बुक से माय हिंदी इज नॉट सो सारे जो वर्ल्ड के दूसरे कंट्रीज है उनको भी नॉर्थ ईस्ट दिखाना है. सॉरी फॉर द लैंग्वेज प्रॉब्लम.
मैम लैंग्वेज मैंने मुद्दा इसलिए उठाया क्योंकि जो लोगो है जयपुर लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल का उस पर टाइगर है और वो इंसान हिंदी समझता है.
जी 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 जी.
वो इंसान मारवाड़ी समझता है.
जी जी जी.
थैंक यू मैम.
हम समझते हैं पूरा, लेकिन बोलने में ग्रामेटिकली मिस्टेक्स हो जाते हैं हिंदी में.
Okay, we just have a few seconds left. Maybe one last question. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's another lady who hadn't.
Oh, okay. Yes, I think we should go to her. I'm sorry, but we should conclude after that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am. So, ma'am, I just want to ask that since you are into a police academy and you are a writer, so what is that one constant theme which, you know, women in the North India especially is struggling, and you really want that we should get rid of it, because we talk so much about women empowerment, but there are certain grave issues which females are really suffering. So ma'am, what is that one issue which you think as a writer and as a bureaucrat that it should really be resolved?
You mean women in Northeast India?
Yeah, especially the females of Northeast.
So right now, like women in Northeast India, as of now, we face this problem of trafficking. So I would like to eradicate it. It is not possible because there are so many, middlemen. I'll just be brief. When a girl is trafficked, it's not a single person who is involved. There are a number of persons, and when the girl is in transit, she's carried from one place to another by different people, and when she gets to her destination, it is different people controlling her altogether. So this is one problem I would like like it to be eradicated from the Northeast. And here I would probably like to say women are held in very high esteem in the Northeast.
Thank you so much for being such a wonderful audience. I'm sure that Indrani has inspired you all to take up writing, no matter how tough your day job and your profession is, and it's never too late. Congratulations, Indrani, again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Indrani and Anupama for this discussion, and all of you, I really want to appreciate all of you for being here at Chai Bagh for the last session of the day.